Welcome everybody to another edition of WC 2005 here in TEW 2020. And before we get to the actual show, just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. First, in case you haven't noticed, on the actual old YouTube page here, on the community section, and I assume you get up like notifications based on your subscriptions or however the old algorithm works. We're doing the mini award instead of on a Google Doc on the actual community page, since it seems to be about to gain the same amount of votes or so. So we've already done 2 awards, but now there'll be a 3rd award, which you'll see along with the posting of this video, whenever that is, about the next match year award, which is going to be the Women's Match of the Year, which is going of the mid-year, which is going to be Gail Kim versus Jordan Lawler, back at Revolution in February. Tricia Skye versus Gail Kim for the title at Rising Sun Revolution, where Gail Kim won the title. Gail Kim versus Celine Cartier at Slamboree in the rematch. Gail Kim versus Tricia Skye in their Big Iron Woman match at Great American Bash, and European Disunion versus Cartier and Alli Danger for the tag titles at Great American Bash. Honestly, for that last match, just want another big women's match that involved the usual women. But yeah, make your choice there, and all the other categories are still open basically until I close voting, which will probably be about the end of the month, end of the in-game month, give or take, so a couple more shows. But yeah, that's that. And then outside of that, of course, we still have the Mayhem Tournament Pick'ems, which again, if you're, how it works is you just, go to the page, which I'll include as part of the description box, and just, choose who you think is going to win all the way to the quarterfinals. Then it doesn't matter who you pick in the finals, because the finals is a 4-way ladder match, and then just pick your winner, and then points every round. And again, your first place gets a choice of a person to push and de-push, a match of their choice at the title match of their choice at the match of their choice at the November pay-per-view, a dev basically graduation, a dev release, and also finally a dev hiring. And then for second place, you get a match of your choice on a Nitro or a title match of your choice on a Nitro Revolution. Obviously, you don't get to pick the booking. You get your own push and de-push. If there's any, basically run over with the first place gets the advantage. But again, doesn't matter. You'll just get to pick somebody else. You'll get to do your own dev hiring as well. And then third place is going to be your match of your choice. That's not a title match on Nitro Revolution. And then your own dev hiring. And again, in the mid-year awards, I've sort of gone over the people who are available out there in the wrestling world as far as possible hirings, or you can just, send a list and I'll let you know who's available. And again, if you sign up with your email, I'll go with that by default, unless you include your name, a, Reddit name, Twitter name, YouTube, and a Reddit name, Twitter name, Discord name, and you indicate what that is, so I have some way to contact you. Because otherwise, if you win, and again, we still have time before it ends, but if we get more than 10 predictions, I'll also be throwing a random roll in there, and whoever wins that will also be getting their own random match at a Nitro Revolution. So there you go. Let's get on to actual Nitro. And we are live in front of a sold-out Houston Summit in front of 15,000 people in beautiful Houston, Texas, as Kanyon comes down to a big pop from the crowd, and he takes the mic and says, "Jason Jett, look, I get it, man. I totally understand trying to make your name going out there. Hell, look what I did when I was trying to get my name out there a few years ago. But here's the thing. You chose the wrong guy. There's lots of people you could have attacked, and it would have been okay. But now you're on my level, or like you're trying to be, so come out here and get your ass kicking like a man, because there's nobody better than Kanyon. And then when I'm done with that, Kimmin, there's just reminder, your title reign is on notice. 13 more days, we're going to be in the ring across from you at Bash of the Beach, and when I walk out, I'm going to be the world champion once again, and nobody will be able to say I'm not the best wrestler in the world today." So 99, great promo, and then we have the actual matches. Jason Jett comes out for a big opener here on Nitro. And basically, this isn't quite a dominant performance by Kanyon, but Kanyon is our top, one of our top baby faces, honestly, going for a world title shot at the pay-per-view. And Jason Jett's sort of like a mid-card guy who I don't have a ton to do with at the moment, unfortunately. And so that's what this match is. It's not the end of the world for Jett, because he still looks good against a top-tier guy. He gets his spots in, be a few flips, going for the, going for a few big moves. But eventually, Kanyon takes over because he is, again, the current #1 contender, hits a few big moves, hits a flatliner, hits a Kanyon cutter, 1, 2, 3, and picks up victory here on Nitro in front of the crowd in Houston. This gets a 79. Kanyon gets a 96 because he's fucking great. Jason Jett gets a 70. And then after the match, of course, out comes the triumvirate, who go for a beatdown, but Kanyon's ready for him. And actually, like, awesome, like, sort of charges him. Kanyon throws him over the top rope. Lance Storm comes in. Kanyon's ready for him and, hits him with a big flatliner. And then Kimmy comes from behind, but Kanyon nails him with a cannon cutter. But just when the triumvirate are looking like they're going to sort of like reorganize and go after him 3-on-1, out comes Eric Bischoff and says, no, wait, guys, I get it. But you're trying to ruin my pay-per-view main event, and I can't let that happen. And here's the thing. You did lose the tag team titles to the Hardys. Big pop for that. But you're still the U.S. champion and TV title champion, which means I still got you to wrestle on my show. So, Jason, tonight you're defending the TV title against Teddy Hart. Pop for that. And Mike, no U.S. title defense for you, but you will be defending that title at Bash at the Beach against the number one contender who will be set up next week right here on Nitro. So there you go. Match set up for later tonight. And basically they're made to be busy, so they can't go after Kanyon again. And there we go. 99, another big segment, as Kanyon and Kevin all very good here. And then we go backstage, where the Hardys are backstage with the titles to a crowd pop. And then in comes Helms and Tomko. Of course, Tomko looks tough. Helms is, in front of him, looking cocky. Matt's like, Matt says to Jeff, you told me he's changed a lot since we were all wrestling in small North Carolina gyms in the middle of nowhere, but you didn't tell me he's this much of an asshole. And Helms like, no. I didn't change. I evolved. I became the wrestler I was meant to be. A world champion. Something you two have never done. And the greatest United States champion of all time. And then, in a few days, we're going to be tag team champions along with my main man, Titus Tomko here. And Jeff's like, wait, I remember, yeah, you were US champion, then I showed up, and my first night here, I beat you for that title. They argue, and basically what's set up is, Helms says, yeah, that's when I had the wrong people behind me. Now I got a man who's defended prime ministers, dictators, presidents, CEOs of the world over. And he's got my back, and we're going to kick your ass back to the beach. But hey, Matt, let me welcome you to the studio. Get in that ring, and I'll show you why I was the greatest United States champ of all time. Matt agrees, and we have a match set up for next week, which this all gets an 85, which is pretty solid. Despite, Matt not being that over quite yet, and, Jeff beat Jeff. And then we have a match, shockingly good match, as Don Frye kills Great Suzuki in a little over 2 minutes with cross arm breaker. Suzuki, unfortunately, like I've explained before, like he's a decent wrestler. He's not like an over, but like he only wrestles Mondays. Like he's not around for Sundays, so I can't do much with him. But this is a really solid match, considering it's only 2 minutes. And Frye gets a quick submission. Yeah, actually Suzuki's like really over here, or he's really good. I'll have to double check his over just after the show, just because I'm curious. Anyway, Frye kills him. Like Suzuki maybe gets like one big spot in, but Frye dominates as he enters put over his big match with Sean O'Haire at Bash at the Beach. And then Savage shakes the mic as Frye, looks tough, and he says, O'Haire, you never faced a real battle in this ring. You've been given everything by WCW officials. Dig it. Man, Frye has had a battle all over the world in the darkened corners of it, in front of slimy, sleazy men who want him to not just get defeated, but get injured, to get his bones broken, or even worse, in the octagon. Sean, you've never faced anything like that. At Bash at the Beach, Frye's going to end the idea. You're nothing more than a guy who's been given everything in this business. Take it. Oh, yeah. And Frye gets to look tough. And there you go. Quick little promo, continuing the feud and setting, pushing the big match between them at Bash at the Beach, which gets us a 77. And then we go backstage where Jeremy Borash is with Jerry and Lynn. Borash asks him about getting the Cruiserweight title shot at Bash at the Beach. Lynn says he understands that people think he doesn't have much of a shot because of his age and because he's a veteran, but that just means I'm an old dog, but I got the same old tricks. And Reckless, you got a big wing, you got the title. But, I'm ready for anything, or your sister tries to throw at me, and I'll be walking out the Cruiserweight champion. and he can breakfast and Tracy into the interviewer and says, Jerry, look, man, you've done great stuff in this business, but your time's over. This is time for men like me, and with my sister's help, you're just going to be another note on my rise to greatness. When he says, we'll just see about that, man, and then he walks away. 46, because, it's Sterling cutting a promo. So there you go. But still, not bad. Not terrible. Like, this could have completely bombed, honestly. And then, we have some fun here. As out comes Morningstar and Kai Grace, as the answers, try to explain what's happened with him, with, these two and Raven Mesias in Raven's supposed former mansion home. Okay. And, basically Morningstar takes the mic as Kai Grace stands behind and says, it's time to end the leftovers of any dissent against us. So, you former soldiers to arms that were behind Raven after turning your back on me, come out and take your massacre. And after a moment, out comes Rothschild and Killswitch, and it looks like we got a match. This gets an 85 just because it's Morningstar, because I smartly just rated him. I'm sure these guys are actually over, maybe, but not yet. Then you have a match, and it's not much of a match. Honestly, it's just basically like Morningstar standing at the ringside, well, not ringside, but on the ring apron, telling Kai Graves what to do. As he destroys both men, eventually Kai Graves gets the big pin with the Thunder Spike, which I'll still have to rename, in a little over 3 minutes. This gets a 67. Kai Graves gets a 42. Morningstar gets an 88. Killswitch gets a 56. Rothschild gets a 52. Pretty straightforward match. And then, just as they're going to continue the beatdown, out come Raven and Mesias at the top of the ramp. And Morningstar, a power spot in a match with these three, sure. Maybe he reversed, he had a big super suplex on these two, or got him up for the injured wings. Okay, sure. But then out comes, Raven Mesias at the top of the ramp, and Raven takes the mic and says, Morningstar, it's true. I was beaten. I was bloody. I was bruised. But as you can see, I'm not broken. And neither was my monster Mesias. You see, there's still a prophet that I want to speak to. So, in a few weeks, on the beach, a battle, bring him and see if he can truly break me the way my father and so many others have tried throughout my life. Quote the Raven, nevermore. And Morningstar fires back, you will accept the message, Raven. And Mesias, you will return to the fold one way or the other. So, since we got a match for Bash at the Beach, these four in a tag match, I guess, maybe the Prophet might show up. Who knows? This gets to 79, decent stuff, not perfect, but still really solid stuff. As this funny feud, which I'm sure people either hate or enjoy, it continues on. And then we got backstage where Sean O'Hara is with Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, and basically, welcomes Jeff back, welcomes Matt to WCW, but says it's gonna be tough in there in our big 6-man match later on tonight. Eddie's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and look, he may have grown up Helms and helped train him, but he's a different man now. As Jeff knows, and Matt, you'll find out soon enough. But here's the thing. I've got you guys as tag champs, and we're going to bring a future shock to these guys and remind them why we're the rising stars of WCW, and we're going to be the future of this business. Jeff and Matt agree, and, we got your back, Sean. Let's show them what we can do. 93, good promo. O'Hara probably throws something in and says, I fought and earned everything I've got in this business, regardless of what other people say. Just to sort of shot back at Don Frye. And here we go. 93, good stuff. Then we have Bill Goldberg killing Prince Osei in 2 minutes. Literally just Osei comes out. He does a little thing where he tries to pay Goldberg off. Goldberg spears him out of his boots, kicks his ass, gets the jackhammer. There you go. Nothing personal. Gets a 68. Goldberg gets a 90. Osei gets a 58. They have pretty good chemistry, which is interesting, as the announcers basically use this 2 minutes to put over, Goldberg versus Eddie in a huge match at Bash at the Beach. As Goldberg celebrates and basically says to the camera, Eddie, you're next. 69, good stuff as we move forward. And then we have our TV title match as back and forth match, but a fairly quick match as it only goes 6 minutes. And basically it's all action. And eventually, Teddy Hart goes for a big, flying move off the top rope after, Storm does some, a little bit of, chain wrestling at the beginning, technical stuff, but Hart takes over. It's some big flag moves. Looks like he's going to big upset victory. But eventually goes up top, goes for, sort of a twisting moonsault. Storm gets his knees up, cradles Teddy, pulls ropes a little, pulls the tape a little rather, and gets the 1, 2, 3 victory here on Nitro to retain the World Television title. And he'll be defending that title a little more as now he no longer has the tag titles, unfortunately for him. But then, as Storm is celebrating, in comes Kanyon. Boom! Kanyon cutter out of nowhere. And there we go, 68. And Kanyon's gimmick is getting stale, which I'll note and change in a moment here. And then we have the heels backstage, of course, as Eddy, is talking to Helms and Tomko. And he's like, look, Shane, I say, you're a great wrestler. You got that going for you. But this guy, I don't know anything about. So keep him out of my way. And together, we'll take care of the addict, his brother, and the fallen scion. Because grow family values means. And Helms steps in and cuts him off and says, no. You see, this man is backing me up. And Eddy, we can work together for a common thing. But we're equals. We're both former world champions. We're two of the best wrestlers in the world. So we'll get in that ring and we'll kick some ass. But you better realize I'm at your level, Eddy, and I always have been. And Eddy sort of smirks and says, hey, whatever you say, Holmes, and then walks away. So 95, good stuff. Again, heels should not get along because they're evil. Faces should get along. And then we have Brother Ray and the Truth basically coming out for, promo saying they're ready for a fight. So whichever two members of the Chosen Few want ass kicking come out because they're ready to give it. And out comes Ginger and Divine, and we have a tag match set up here. As this gets a 79, just sort of continuing the feud. And then we have our big tag match, which gets an 83, solid stuff. A good match, nothing great. Ginger and Divine actually have an advantage, Brother and Truth brawl and get the early advantage. But Ginger and Divine, because they've actually been teaming up, eventually get the advantage. There's a heat segment with Brother Ray, with Truth, as he has to sell. Divine doing some, Cruiserweight style moves. Ginger coming in, hitting some power stuff. But eventually Brother gets hot tag, wild stuff. Things break down. Eventually, Jeff Jarrett is able to slide in, drop the Truth with a guitar shot. Ginger picks him up, mark of perfection. 1, 2, 3. And the Chosen Few get a big victory over Brother Ray and the Truth here. On Nitro, this gets an 83. Truth gets a 75. Brother Ray, who I'm probably under pushing, honestly, has an 87. Divine gets a 75, and Ginger gets a 77. And post-match, the Chosen Few celebrate to the boos of the crowd as the announcers try to put over that unless Brother Ray, the Truth, and even the Gigantes can really gel as a team, the Chosen Few will always have the advantage here. And then we have our quick Revolution recap focusing on Tricia Skye, setting up a title match with Lizzy Dumas. And then we have our main event, a big 6-man tag. Which, okay, that was a little disappointing. Was there anything specific going on here? Or was this just, not a great match? Poor selling, a little bit for Hudson, but he's done 90s before. Yeah, I guess this was, you throw Matt Hardy's not that over yet, and Tomko into this match, and this is what you get. Okay, anyway, still, a great match. It's Sean Hare who's really over, Jeff Hardy, Helms, and Eddy, who are all, very good, do great workers, and, Tomko gets to throw people around for a bit, O'Hare and him, brawl for a little bit, O'Hare gets the advantage, Eddy comes in, they fight for just a little bit to, put over, their past feud. And then eventually both Goldberg and Don Frye come down to ringside, but they don't get involved. They just sort of stare down, and that sort of sets things up where both, Eddy yells at Goldberg, that walks him to adulting with the Hardy Boys, and then, O'Hare, yells at Frye, that allows, Tomko to get a little bit of advantage on him, but eventually things break down. Guerrero, Guerrero and O'Hare start brawling with their opponents at Bash at the Beach. In ring, twist of fate, Hardy goes up top, boom, big swanton bomb on Shane Helms as he just put it over as another big victory as 1, 2, 3. O'Hare and Hardy Boys get the win here. This gets an 83, which again, a little disappointing, but O'Hare gets an 87, Matt gets a 76, Jeff gets a 95, Eddy gets a 94, Tom gets a 49, Helms gets a 90. So yeah, if we cut out the two, probably could have been a 92 or 93. But hey, not the end of the world. As overall, this gets us a 90. Fun stuff. Again, throw in a really hot segment at the beginning, and you can sort of deal with the rest of the show. All right, I skipped the loading just because there's something else going on that I just want to quite spoil, but not the end of the world. All right, let's see here. Very Saturn's part of Integrity. That's interesting. Damage is part of Integrity. That's interesting. Sorry, I'm just distracted here. Anyway, so Raw had only 85. Ooh, interesting. So we had Edge leaving Triple H lane. Shawn Michaels talks about Brock Lesnar. Scott Hall and Christian teaming up because Scott Hall's been turned babyface. Beating Mark Henry and Funaki. Sure, in 78. Jericho winning a squash. Lesnar winning a squash. A random 96 for a Brock Lesnar squash. Sure game. Sure. Billy Gunn interview. JBL and Angle confrontation. Gaza Bruce getting another one over Richards and Bump and Grind in 82. Molly Holly beating Veronica Vrain in random 87. Sure. Kurt Angle defeating JBL in 94, and main event of Benoit and Taker defeating Top Shelf for Regal and TTP, which only got an 85. So they got a 3.07, and we got a 2.89. So very close there. Email wise, yeah. Just also as a note, Ray Levins not a regular wrestler, nothing big there. But yeah, all right. Interesting. Also, just so I don't honestly forget about it. Hey, Kanyon. Let's tweak that because it's freaking legendary. There we go. All right. So I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution. And now we're on the Revolution in front of 13,000 beautiful people in beautiful Wells Fargo, at the beautiful Wells Fargo Arena in Iowa. And out comes Chuck Palumbo to open the show, basically saying he's the face of Revolution. He's the number one seed in the Mayhem tournament, but yet he's not booked tonight. So he's ready to kick somebody's ass and remind everybody in this arena why he's his top dog here on this show. Out comes all people, Monty Brown, and Monty's like, look, we've teamed together, we fought together before, but that was all business. But I'm the man on this show, and you better not forget it. Yeah, you're the number one seed in the Mayhem tournament, but you got lucky in that match, and deep down, Palumbo, you know it. And it looks like we're about to have a heel-on-heel fight when out comes America's Most Wanted, and NW are like, look, we're out of the tag team title show for the moment. That doesn't mean we can't show why we're the best tag team in the business. And you mentioned you guys have teamed together. So, if you're two of the best in the world, why don't you take on us, 3-time tag team champions, and we'll show you why we're the best tag team in the world. Still one of the best tag teams in the world in today. And once you're down on the mat, sorry about your damn luck. Palumbo and Monty eventually agree, and we have a big tag team event for tonight as a Palumbo and Monty taking on James Storm and Chris Harris. As this gets a 90. Fun stuff. Honestly, good, better than I thought because I was worried about Storm and Harris. And then we have an in-ring match as Lizzy Dumas basically beats Annie Vidal in a little under 5 minutes. Just a basic quasi-squash. Annie gets a little bit of offense in, but this is just a match show so Lizzy can show off and the Andros put over her as the number one contender to the women's title. As this gets a 64, Lizzy gets a 64, and Annie Vidal gets a shockingly 58. Solid match, and then Lizzy takes the mic and says, week after week, day after day, I've been in WCW, and the company keeps on thinking they can move past me. Bring in a bunch of new women to bypass me. Bring in stars from North to bypass me. But I'm still here. And Tricia, we battled before, we fought before, we degraded ourselves before to stay in this business. In a couple weeks, when I get my title shot, Tricia, your reign at the top is over. And everybody can remind why I brought women's wrestling back to the forefront here in the United States. 81, decent little promo. Still a cocky promo, but you can't, she's not exactly wrong, but still she's, a heel, so there we go. 81, fun stuff. And then we have another video focusing on Sun Siaki. This gets a 45, talking third person, talking about, how awesome he is, how he's, the hottest young star in the business, and now he's coming to WCW to prove that Sun Siaki is the future of WCW. 45, decent little stuff, getting him over via interview packages. Then we have, I think, a fairly big thing. Cash comes out, basically saying, he's a main event player last week, as you saw last week, but he wants to show just how great he is. So he has a challenge for anybody in the back to get in this ring, and he gets to show why he's a main eventer, and he's nothing but money. And then some interesting music. New music comes out, and out comes Shelton Benjamin, making his WCW debut. Announcers put him over. Shelton says, look, I originally signed for WCW because I want to wrestle with the best, and Cash, you think you're the best? So let's get in that ring and see who truly is better. And the match is set up. This gets a 67 because Will Shelton's not that over. And, Cash is, not terrible. Legitimate athlete got it great and gives large boost to psychology. So fun stuff. This gets a 67. And the actual match is back and forth, really solid. Shelton gets his spots in big suplexes, big springboards, submissions, but Cash fights back, does a little bit of heel cheating, and eventually, he hits a few big moves, slides under, low blow, dead level, right in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, and Shelton's management does his best here in his WCW debut, but Cash gets the win here as this gets an 82. Cash gets a 79, Shelton gets a 73, but this is sort of we're in the Midwest, which is where he wrestled forever as part of the Dev territory, so he's more over here than anybody else, but this is a good way to get him over initially. So really solid match, gets an 82 overall, but Cash isn't happy with his victory as he begins a beatdown, yelling, he's a main eventer, you're nothing, when out comes Booker T to run Cash off. Cash backs away, and then Booker helps Shelton up, pats him on the back, raises his hand, as youngsters put over, the Booker looks at the back of this new young wrestler here in WCW. As this gets an 80, it looks like we might have another new feud going on here. So fun stuff. Moving forward, as AJ Styles is backstage with our interviewer / reporter, Amy Weber, and he basically, she asked him if he's confident against his match with Keenan Sharpe, and AJ says, he wants to be the face that runs this place here in WCW, so he has to be confident going into any match. But, he understands Sharpe's a tough customer, but he's ready for anything in the ring tonight. And, Sharpe puts over, Amy asking if, AJ Styles is not worried. Sharpe got the big victory over Rob Van Dam. Is he about to add, hit his name to your name to his list? And AJ's like, look, RVD is obviously one of the best wrestlers in the world today. But he's obviously a little distracted right now with whatever's going on in his life. But I'm not distracted. I'm solidly ready for one goal, that's rising to the top. And Keenan, I'm not going to be on your path, buddy. And then he walks away. 84, decent promo as we move forward. And then we have a very big moment here as Rob Van Dam says, for the last few weeks, hell, since I've lost the world title, I've been a little lost. I can be honest about that. I had my rematch against Kidman, and I blew it. So I moved on. I'm at Revolution. But in the last few months, Sonny's been talking to me and pointing out some things. Man, about what's been going on here at WCW. And first I didn't want to listen to him, but I had to realize he was right. So he wants to come here, and honestly, he wants to help me make sure that I don't get screwed here in WCW. And then out comes a reworked version of the Harry / ECW theme, and out comes Paul bleeping Heyman to a shocked Josh Big Pop as, basically, Mike Today says, oh my God, Paul Heyman is here in WCW. And Randy Savage, says, he tried to, he makes a joke about him trying to lowball him on coming to ECW when he was out of his contract with WCW. And then him takes mic and says, well, it's been a long time since I've been in a WCW ring, haven't I? Mixed pop for that. But you see, I'm not here for a takeover. I'm not here for an invasion. I'm here as an advocate for one man, Rob Van Dam. You see, Rob Van Dam is the best athlete in professional wrestling today. He's the most extreme athlete in professional wrestling today. He is the face of a new generation. Yet, WCW does not see that. After his title was stolen from him, they don't give him a direct rematch. They give a rematch in a gimmick where he didn't where he had to beat the guy who stole the title from him twice in order to get back his title. And then they left him adrift. Didn't give him anything. Made him just another guy when he should not be. You see, because this man, he can do things no other man in this business can do. And he can do that all while being charismatic, good looking, and a star who could be the next Jean-Claude Van Damme if he wanted to. But he's here in the wrestling ring. And with my guidance, he will rise to the top once again because he is the whole show. He is Rob Van Dam. And starting now, he's back to being Mr. Wednesday Night. Makes spot for that as Rob Van Dam points to himself, walks out with Heyman, as he enters put over that Heyman's here in WCW. But the question is, what is his goal going to be with Van Dam? This gets at 87, because I tried putting Heyman in as the road agent, and it didn't work that great, but hey, what can you do? I know now that he's not ready to quit road agent, which is not really true with real life, but what can you do? Heyman's advocate gimmick got it very good, and there we go. A big moment here as Paul Heyman makes his return to WCW as Rob Van Dam's advocate. And then we have a women's match as it's Celine Cartier versus Alli Danger. And, Alli Danger does look good, doing her brawling and fighting Celine Cartier, but Cartier, throws her around, uses her power, her submissions to wear Alli down. It looks like Cartier's going to get another big win here on Revolution. But then, there's a rough bump, and Gail Kim comes in, hits the Eat Defeat from behind on Cartier. Then Danger hits her with a big move and picks up the victory here in a shocking moment as Gail Kim has helped Alli Danger get her biggest win here in WCW, defeating a former WCW World Champion. This gets a 70. Carter gets a 76. Danger gets a 53. They have pretty good chemistry. And as you can probably guess, Carter wasn't happy about this, so I'm going to have to write a check after the show. It is what it is. And then post-match, Alli and Gail celebrate to a 65. And then we're backstage as Tori Wilson is with Keith Walker as he's beating on a bag, and she says, We needed a restructuring here, Keith Walker, in the fighting pit. He is one of the best fighters in the world today, but he has not had the opportunity to fight with talent commensurate to his level of ability. So we've been reworking, restructuring, and honestly readjusting his contract as he's been training. But starting next week, Keith Walker will be back in the fighting pit, and he will show you why he is the baddest man in WCW. His little promo gets a 43, not that great, but what can you do? And then we have a Sharpe in ring as he comes into the ring, and he says, all of you wrestling fans here in Iowa need to walk the path with me, because obviously your current divisions are not treating you well. Boo. Be honest. You're in the state, racked with corn subsidies, eating fatty, salty, sugary food that's making you all obese, sickly, and sad. But when you get behind me and walk the path, you will have a new light in your life. And AJ Styles, I'll admit, you're not as bad off as these fools are, as he points to the ring to more boos, but you still need to walk the path behind me. This gets a 76, decent little heel promo setting up the match, and it's a back and forth match. And Jesus Christ, it's a 94. I should have put this as the main event. Okay, I see. AJ Styles, I did not realize that was your game. But no. So this is actually a shockingly great match. It begins with a normal, solid, upper mid card match, but the back and forth, Styles fighting back into just Sharpe's, technical and Muay Thai kicks. Sharpe fighting back with his own big moves, big flips, reversals of, Styles powering out of a sort of crossface into a big move, hitting the phenomenal forearm for a near fall, setting it for the Styles clash, but Sharpe, getting out of it and then locking him in. And then near the end of the match, Ken Anderson comes down to the ring. Sharpe gets distracted by that. It allows Styles to hit some big moves, but Sharpe fires back. And eventually, Sharpe looks like he's going, Sharpe actually locks Styles in a submission hold and puts his foot on the ropes to get the advantage. But Anderson kicks the foot off. Sharpe breaks the hold, yells at Anderson on the outside, and he turns around right into a big move from Styles, and then kick, wham, Styles clash. 1, 2, 3. Your winner in a 90-4 is AJ Styles. So yeah, Sharpe got a 69 only, but AJ Styles got a freaking 94 because he's AJ fucking Styles. And there we go. And then Styles celebrates to a 69 as the announcers put over a big victory here for him on Revolution. And then you have our quick backstage segment as Cartier walks up to Gail Kim and Alli Danger and asks, what the hell was that? And Gail's like, look, I've admitted to myself I'm going to be out of the world title scene for a little bit until I can regain my #1 contendership. So I've teamed up with this woman before, Alli Danger, and I see her future of her talent. I decided to give her a little boost. And plus, showing you that you're not as great as you think you are, Celine, is just a bonus. Because this is about building the future up, and you're just in the way. So it looks like Gail Kim has a little understudy, and here we go. This gets a 64. And then we have our main event, which gets an 85. Not as good as I was hoping for like high 80s, but still very good. Solid, back and forth. Like Palumbo Monty, are two of the top wrestlers on Revolution, but they're not a tag team, and that sort of shows. AEW hit some big double team moves early. Like they don't dominate as Palumbo. Like every time Palumbo, gets on a roll, or Monty, Monty Brown actually hits a pounce in the midpoint of the match, but Harris is able to in and make a quick save on Storm. Fires back. Palumbo goes for the full throttle late in the match, but James Storm actually comes in and hits a drop kick to the back of Palumbo to break that up. Things break down, and eventually what happens is Monty Brown, it says by an attack, but it actually is, things break down, and Palumbo actually nails Monty with a big boot as they're rolling, and that's just enough for Storm Harris to throw Palumbo out, hit a quick death sentence on Monty, and get the big pinfall victory here on Revolution as the answers, put over after the match. That, this just proves, Palumbo and Monty could be world champions, but they needed a little more connection to beat a top tag team like America's Most Wanted, as it gets an 85. Monty gets an 85, Chuck gets an 87, Chris gets a 79, James Storm gets an 82, and the show ends, as Monty recovers and starts yelling at Palumbo about what happened. Palumbo fires back, and they're about to be a brawl as W officials get between them, as, trouble in paradise between the heels here, as this gets an 84, and overall, this gets us an 87. Solid stuff. All right, and just as a reminder for Bash of the Beach, so far we've got Eddy versus Goldberg, Kanyon versus Kidman, O'Hare versus Frye, Hardy versus Helms and Tomko. I'm just going to book this now. Where's Bash of the Beach? There we go. We'll pre-book the match. Obviously, also we have Jerry Lynn versus Rick Roberts for the Cruiserweight title. And there we go. But yeah, also storyline wise, so Against the Darkness is at a 74. Caroline and Blood, which is our tag team feud, is now at an 84. Chosen Backgrounds is at an 80. Cruiser Stuff's at a 53. Evolution is Mysteries at a 62. Expensive Taste is at an 84. Canyon's Revenge is at an 88. Top Guy Stuff's at an 82. An Advocate is at an 89. Disease or Disorder is at a 60. Helping Your Understudy starts with a 63. New Rivals, which is just Booker, Cash, and Benjamin, is at an 82. Old Rivals, which is Lizzy and Tricia, is at an 85. And Revolution Rising is at an 85 as well. So fun stuff. And then if we look back at WWE, what they're doing, SmackDown had, let's see here, Ivory defeating Veronica Vane in a 74. Will Enrico defeating Blue Boy in a squash. Kurt Angle defeating Maven in a 94. Sure. Dallas Bruiser getting another win over Christian and Bowman Grind. Taker defeating Funaki in an 87. Again, sure. Benoit defeating DDP by DQ in an 84, which is interesting. Ooh, okay. DDP has hit the wall. Okay, I did not notice this. Wow, okay. Interesting. Triple H and Jericho then defeated Big Show and Edge in a tables match, which got a rating of 99, because Edge and Jericho got hundreds, because of course they did. Fun times. Then, as always, if we look at our Dev Feds, which are here, NWA Wildside had their TV show, which had Kenzo Suzuki defeating Kurt Stallings. Rick Michaels defeated Tony Jones. Ortiz, Rhodes, and Stone Mountain defeated Matt Cross, Ken Cole, and Matt Morgan. Fun stuff. Jason Crocs and Onyx defeated Lazarus and Cassidy O'Reilly, so 4 people not really assigned for us. Then he had Freedom Fight, which had Ryan Drago versus Rain Man. Kurt Stallings defeated Austin Creed, and Regen versus Austin Creed. Dang Briz defeated Matt Morgan. Morgan's sort of meh so far. Like, I don't know. Matt Cross defeated Chance Profit. And then Jimmy Rave defeated Ann Ortiz for the NWA Wild Side Heavyweight title. Fun stuff. And then for the weekly house show, Austin Reed doing chance prop by DQ. Then not much else going on. Honestly, like the mix of our guys and NWA Wildside guys is sort of like weird at the moment. Honestly, because we like brought up a lot of people. For AWQ, speaking of bringing people, we had Ladies Night, which is their monthly big show. We had Annette Blitcher choose the Regen and ODP, and Michelle, which is Michelle McCool, defeat Tracy Taylor, Madison Eagles, and made Kong by Q at 41. Looking over, Mayu Hosaka defeat Carla Chambers in a 49. Madison Clare defeat Cindy Rogers in a 51. Becky Bayless defeat Miss Molly, and Ariel defeat Mischief to retain the AWQ title in a 56. If we look at what our friends over in WWE are doing, they had their weekly show. Not much of note. They have 2 regens, and Ray Steele retained the TV title over Ricky Shane Page, Jaden Rodham, and Alex Shelley. Then they had a monthly big show. Falaba defeated Silas Young in a battle of former Impact and Raw Rick stars, or at least in our timeline. Dan and Rodimer won a match. Cyber Squad defeated Club Deluxe. And Ray Steele defeated Drew Onyx and Andy Alex. Remember, Drew Onyx is the guy who was on a roster for a while as Shane Helms back. Not Shane Helms, at Human Noble's backup, but he just didn't do anything, so we kept him around. All right. So then OVWs. OVW. Russ Haas defeats John Cena by DQ. The Battle of the Twos continued as Shaggy Dope Battle Too Tough Tony. Rob Conway defeats Chuck Taylor by DQ. Joey Masters defeats Tommy Maluk to retain the title. And T. Bradley and Daniel Peter defeat Dewarding and Mafia to retain the tag titles. And then on Saturday's show, again, Shaggy Dope defeats John Cena in a match I'm sure in this timeline he'll make fun of eventually on Instagram. Danny Norton defeated Too Tough Tony. Bradley Peter retained the tag titles. Lizzie Borden retained the Divas title. And Joey Matthews won a match. So there you go. OVW is OVW. What can you say? And then if we look at the news. So again, ROH had a show. Honestly, Ring of Violence, not Ring of Honor. Not much going on. Trent Acid versus Onyx. David Flair is still there. Interesting stuff. Outside of that, I don't think there's really anything. MLW had a big show. Mark Murdo defeated Jim Rave in the main event. Adam Jacobs retained the MLW title over Jason Cross, Shane Balor, Johnny Grunge. Marcus Miltech defeated Adam Windsor. Julia Estrada and Simon Diamond won the tag titles over Ron Harris and Violent J. Sure. And yeah, that's about it as far as what matters. Let's see here. We had Nitro. BJW had a big show. Bambi Low defeated Shingo Takagi in the main event. Sasaki and Ogwa defeated Subculture and Matsunaga and Wife Beater. Sure. Oh, and that Subculture team is Zandig and Men's Tio. Sure. Okay. Thrasher wrestled because he's around, I guess. And I think that's about it to show you guys as far as that goes. Oh, DDT had a big show. Yeah, they had King of DDT, which is their King of DDT tournament was basically just a women's tournament, as the main event was Toshi Uematsu defeated Manny Toyota in a friggin' 93. I mean, I'm sure this match would be great, but it's interesting that DDT is basically a women's promotion at this point. Outside of like Hanma, you had Kanemaru, and Kikuchi defeating Mary Aprachi. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. Because like they do intergender, and they're the bigger company, so they sign a lot of women, and there you go. But hey, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like, comment below on what you're liking and not liking, and of course subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content, along with some Prayer Doc stuff now, and Basketball GM. I hope I'll be able to return to Journey of Wrestling and my other TEW 2020 projects next week. And again, vote in the awards, sign up for the prediction tournament. That's it for now, so talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.